Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Reaction Time. After our 3-week hiatus, we return to possibly all of the competitive League of Legends. Everywhere is back. The LCS is back. The LEC is back. The LPL is back. The LCK is back. Nuguri's back in Damwon. TSM still sucks. All of your hot storylines, get them fresh right here.
Smells good. CLG's undefeated.
So's my fantasy team.
Oh.
Speaking of things that we didn't talk about last week, because Eric was playing Dinosaur Island for 6 hours and forgot about our fantasy draft.
What? So I thought Dinosaur Island was like a joke name for like Ark or Jurassic Park.
It's a board game.
It's a board game. Okay.
It's a Jurassic Park board game.
Okay.
I had a lot of pterodons. A lot of pterodons.
Yes, excellent.
Yeah, and I had like an exhibit in my Jurassic Park where you could get stuffed animal dinosaurs to take home with you.
Nice.
Yeah.
So before we truly dig in, Steven, plug it.
You can get merch at the Funky Store, so you can have big mood energy and wear it on your skin. It's kind of hot. We just broke 100-degree weather in our area, so you want some t-shirts that looks good when you go outside and do things like rake leaves in the summer or mow your grass or all those things. So you can get that at the Funky Store, funky.store. Show off your gamer pride.
You heard it. Now you done it. Anyway, we're going to start with our fantasy teams because that's a good place to start. So we did do a fantasy draft last week. We have a 10-team league that the three of us and 7 other unfortunate souls are in. Steven and I showed up for the draft. Eric didn't, and Eric got screwed by the auto drafter. Eric, what's your team?
So I've got Bwippo, which I'm okay with having Bwippo, but then I ended up getting two. I ended up getting is it Kenvi and Ignar from Immortals, which on the bright side are the 2 playmakers for Immortals, so it's nice as far as if I do get points from them, I will get points. On the flip side though, Immortals is one of the teams going into this offseason who I wouldn't have even speculated on as far as results. So it's fascinating to me that I ended up with 2 players from that roster. And without getting some power picks, I was expecting more power picks if that would be how it worked out. So it's just really interesting to me how that came together. And then in addition to them, I have I guess I do have Jensen. However, that's very suspect, it turns out. So I highly disagree with how the auto drafter decided to speculate. And then I have Neo from Dignitas. So all duds and Bwippo is my team name. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm not expecting wins, especially since the flaw of the 10-team league with LCS means that there's no room for improvement.
Yeah.
You're kind of just locked. And it's all about how you pick ban and going into week to week. Because unless I get somebody who's willing to trade, I don't know, trade Luger for Neo or something along those lines, I don't think there's any way I can improve.
Luger got points. I'm really upsetty about that, to be honest.
So
Yes.
On a related note, I will go next. I intentionally have Dokla and contracts as my top side of my map, and boy, did they pop off this week for me. That was the I high prioritized AD and mid, which I literally was the only person in this 10-team league who picked AD and mid first 2 picks, and that blows my fucking mind just a little bit in terms of pick prioritization. But if I remember correctly, in our draft order, I was the pick after Eric's auto drafting self. So Eric auto drafted Bwippo into me taking FBI, which I have a strong feeling would have played differently had Eric been present for the draft.
I've learned my lesson about early picking Whippo, it turns out, from last split, which is that he's not going to be the TL player who gets the points. So I would have definitely
I prioritized FBI, prioritized whichever ADC I could get of the really good ADCs, and then JoJo, because I think JoJo's going to get big buckets this split. And then I ended up getting Huhi third pick, so I have the 100 Thieves bot lane and JoJo and then the CLG top side, which means that I scored like 450 fantasy points this weekend and barely lost any games. So it was a good start so far for my side. Steven, what did you end up?
So I prioritized my boy Santorin, the king, and then I have Sunday in top, who bamboozled me hard by auto-locking Gnar a million times, which makes me upsetty. And then I have Blue again. I like my boy Blue. I think Dignitas is disappointing me thus far, but we'll talk about that later. I also have Tactical, also not great. That was the best of it. And I have Ale as support, which I should have picked Poom. I had the option between Poom and Ale. I picked wrong. And I got clapped by almost 100 points my first game.
I outscored everyone else in the league by at least 50 points.
Yeah, it's all, like, if I remember, and I
had a really good
Oh
week.
my god, it was bonkers. Didn't Luger get over 100 points by himself?
I'm pretty sure. I'll go look. I have that app.
Well, David doesn't have Luger.
No,
David
I mean, JoJo. It was JoJo.
JoJo got 115 points. Contracts and Dokla both got 97.
Yeah, the CLG, like, across the board got a whole bunch of points, which is lame, bro. No one could have predicted it. Can we spin that into the conversation? Like, okay, what's happening?
Okay, slow your roll, first of all.
I need to know.
It would have been very risky to predict a CLG 3-0 going into the weekend. However, please keep in mind their 3 wins are over Dig, TSM, and Golden Guardians, who are arguably the other 3 teams at the bottom of the table, not counting Immortals.
Right.
And if you factor in that this was looking like a squad that was growing in confidence towards the end of last split, who rotated in a top laner that, correct me if I'm wrong, Eric, but Dokla has been kind of bodying Academy for a hot minute now.
Yep.
I'm not sure any of those 3 wins are exactly upsets. I just wouldn't have bet on them to get all 3.
So, so Dokla's been bodying Academy. The only competition he's had in Academy was really Tenacity, who is like still in kind of like quote unquote limbo on 100 Thieves. The 100 Thieves Gamsu getting promoted was like 100 Thieves like 3rd string top laner, maybe 4th string top laner going straight here. So that's just like a
I'd argue fourth string if you have paid attention to the Academy circuit. 100 Thieves, what's their third?
Sniper.
Yeah, their General Sniper, who's playing for their like 3rd tier squad, just bodied a tournament last week. They 3-0'd in the final of that, and he's like completely crushing. He's just too young to play pro yet.
Yeah, the 15-year-old wonder kid. Yeah, so like it's
But that's what we always wanted to see, or at least I did, like these long-term investment, like culture growth, like nurturing young players, having a complete pipeline ready to go. Like that's the career like option that you need. Like you have to make it viable.
Which is what CLG has done with Luger and Poom.
Yes.
Who came from that 100 Thieves pipeline, let's not forget. But like that rotates right back to the CLG discussion. Is CLG has done the thing that they've needed to do for years, and maybe now we'll be getting rewarded for it because they have bought into this youth movement somewhat. They've bought into Luger and Poom, who came up through 100 Thieves Academy. Contract, who was 2-3 years ago was the big up and coming new young jungler in the league. And then Palafox, who came up through Academy, was at C9 Academy when he got his start. and then played for Immortals for a bit, if I remember right.
He was
then Dokla,
FlyQuest.
And then Dokla, who played in the LCS for Optic.
Echo Fox too.
Yeah, he's played all over the place. Like,
but hasn't been up in the LCS for a couple of years now. So all 5 players on their roster have spent significant time in Academy, and now are working their way back into LCS relevance, and probably all played the best weekends of their life.
Dokla for a long time has been kind of like the new Chris. I don't know if anyone remembers Chris, but it's like he was perpetually like good enough to be like he was perpetually good enough to be like the worst top laner in the LCS, and better than everyone in Academy or below. And so now he's stepped up his game. Like it looks like he's finally gotten valuable experience, and he's showing up big here in these early games now that he has like a powerful topside oriented jungler who's playing. So looks great. Jace has always been one of his big pocket picks, and so him playing it in like a volatile lane matchup and them winning is like incredible. Just incredible.
It's good for
NA Jace winning games.
Well, I think Dokla has always been like not, because he's an enable player, like he works really well with juggle presence, and so I don't think he's had that in a while since the Echo Fox time, but that was, I think, with Dardoch. And you know how that
hit and miss.
You know how that do be. So I think contracts in Dokla is actually like some forbidden sauce. Like that might actually have a lot of potential, especially with their veteran like contributions to the younger players that we're working with. That might just be like what I envisioned, like kind of what 100 Thieves, or I guess more Evil Geniuses and 100 Thieves have kind of benefited from. So repeating the recipe.
So we are impressed by CLG, but I personally am interested to see it against a team that I am expecting to be competing for top 4 in any way.
Yeah, does that even happen next week?
That is my caveat here, because like, let me see this against EG, 100 Thieves, TL, C9 even. Like, if they beat C9 in their current state, that's a decent statement. But, like, next week, they play EG on Sunday. That is going to be an extreme statement game for where things are at, given that EG looks like the class of the league. We can skip to EG now. EG, like, they're the first team ever in the LCS since MSI started to come back and not lose a game their first weekend of the split. And they did it on a super week. They 3-0'd. They beat 100 Thieves, their closest competition last split, and looked dominant doing it. Eric, what were your thoughts on EG's opening 3 games of the summer split?
They looked good in the 100 Thieves set. Like, a lot of teams look really bad. I'm gonna be pretty honest. Like Cloud9, like this looks like the worst Cloud9 meta possible, especially without Berserker. So they look tragic right now, and I'm not even sure Berserker coming back is going to be enough to fix this. FlyQuest looked in shambles, and I don't know what's going on there. So it's there's a number of teams that look like they're going to really struggle for early on in this split. So I have a hard time really gauging points from a lot of the games opening weekend, but EG did look good, and so like EG and TL looked like the 2 teams that had actual game plans and knew what they were doing. 100 Thieves were like a step below to me as far as that goes, where they still were kind of playing like it's last split, last meta, as far as how they're building team comps and what their objectives are on the Rift. I heard Steven like complain about someday like locking Gnar earlier on, and it's like, but this is classic 100 Thieves, where like Someday is going to play his comfort picks until someone shoos him off the Rift effectively, and I don't think they're going to be doing much else, and they look very consistent with what they were like before. So so EG looked good, TL looked good. A lot of teams looked very suspect.
Well, and the Berserker situation is what it is. I know that he is in North America now. If you don't have the context for this, and I think Steven didn't, I think I remember us talking about this in Discord last week. Berserker lost his passport while he was home in Korea over the break. Like, lost it.
The physical passport.
Left it at a cafe or something.
They were getting sushi.
Yep. And it turns out it's complicated to get back into the USA in the best of times without your passport, let alone right now. So I do know that he was back, I want to say Monday nights for sure, and I only know that because I was watching Champions Queue games, and I watched a delightful game of him getting to play the Zeri with Zeri Yumi, and he bodied late game. It was very fun to watch. It was the super early game lane against super late game lane. It was 100 Immortals Academy's bot lane of Arrow and Joey against Berserker and I don't remember who the Yumi was. I don't remember, but so Arrow and Joey lock Lucian Nami, body the early game, get like 3 kills, and then the game goes 35 minutes and Zeri Yumi does Zeri Yumi things. So he's definitely back in the States. I don't know if he's eligible to play in matches this weekend, but I'd assume C9 are going to get back into that as soon as they possibly.
And I think even regardless, like, I wasn't like super impressed with Blabber. I know he's historically shown like when his mental gets shaken, he doesn't perform like at peak, of course. And also Jensen's got some rust to shake off, it seems. That might be my opinion.
Conveniently, the opposite of the storyline about believing in your academy players and giving them stage time. Let's bring Jensen back after he took a split off.
I don't think it's... I'm sure Jensen wasn't, like, discount Jensen. I'm sure he still got a good check. Who is their academy mid lane that they would have been elevating?
Just looking at.
Okay, sorry, I'll stall.
It's Copy.
I've not seen a lot of his play.
Copy's okay.
Okay. And Jensen's playing okay. If not bad, maybe?
Well, so there a lot of you mentioned Blabber, and like so much of it to me looks like they just absolutely fall apart at like 25 minutes, where like they just hard force fights when they shouldn't.
Yep.
And that's like typical Blabber getting like trigger happy on like them needing to make plays, and it's very clearly that it's Blabber initiating this, and Destiny and King are kind of along for the ride. So like I can't give any flack or like or kudos to Jensen yet, except for the fact that Bjergsen bodied him, because like it looks. It's so little of the game has been about his lane. It's been 100% about teams hard punishing bot lane lack of synergy, or Blabber just like inting in front of a dragon pit. Like that's it for all their games so far.
Yeah, but just my opinion of Jensen is that like when the game's not going well, he prefers to just back off and let it go horrible rather than like attempting to make counter plays or like hyping up his team or any of those things. He's very much like Bjergsen in that, where it's like I can't make a mistake or I can't even attempt to go out of like my comfort zone if everything isn't just perfect. And so Blabber being that linchpin as far as like, I'm just going to ape in, and maybe if everybody aped in, it would be fine, but Jensen will never do that. So I think that kind of lays into some future potential synergy problems. That's a complete opinion piece that I will publish in some article or something like that.
Liar.
That's not backed on too much fact. That's just
Well,
like
and like the
personality.
trick is like even if you look through all the academy rosters, right? There's been 1 week of academy play, so small sample size. 100 Thieves Academy, Immortals Academy, and Dig Academy all 2-0. 100 Thieves' new academy mid laner is a player that I've never heard of who would be an import slot. His residency is in the PCS. He's Taiwanese, Jimmy. Immortals Academy. Their mid laner is Pretty, who is an EU player. He is Greek. He would also take him an import slot. And then you have Dig Academy, who is Insanity. Is Insanity a better play in your mid lane than Jensen in current form?
No. But cheaper.
Cheaper. Or like take any of the 3 Australian mid laners from Academy.
Well, and I think Cloud9 looks its best when its team is working together and playing together and making those like team plays. They've taken players that on paper don't look as good and make them look good when they are doing the right things. I think back to like when Sven Skaren was still playing with Cloud9 and they were rotating with the Blabber and like that 7-man roster. Like on paper that should not have worked per se. So I would actually have confidence in Cloud9 to pick up someone that doesn't look as good on paper, but pairing them up with like Fudge, Blabber, and eventually Berserker, and then just having it work because those are some powerhouse players that'll limp someone along that maybe doesn't have the scores in the books yet. So I don't know. I think Jensen just never synergizes with teams quickly.
I think he hasn't played in a hot minute.
That too, which is rough. I feel for the guy.
And like, was he in Champions Queue? Has he been grinding solo queue? How much has he been playing? Do we know? Like,
no. Brought to you by. We interrupt.
Yeah, I don't know. And like, I don't. This is kind of the thing with to bring it back to the whole league discussion. Like the 3 undefeated teams are the biggest talking point. Everybody else kind of needs to just get their shit together, right? Like, that's the thing, is it's hard to draw conclusions about any of the other teams. TSM got 1 win with Maple looking like Maple, which like that is an acquisition that I feel like will continue to be more helpful to their team the longer it lasts. But
they actually looked like a 6th place team to me in like their games. Like they looked clearly better than Golden Guardians and FlyQuest.
But they got slapped by CLG, which then what does that say about CLG?
I think CLG might be better than anticipated.
A lot of teams.
Like, that's the thing, is if TSM is a 6th place team on form, what is CLG?
Up there.
Like, on current form, is CLG 4th in the league?
Who is 4th otherwise?
Well, that's rough right now, because like
that's the thing.
Top 4.
You'd say C9, but
I don't think so.
Well, so top 4, it's like EG, TL, 100 Thieves, and then it's either CLG or like if C9 like looks good, but I'm hesitant about that. So like TSM looking top 6, I guess, isn't that much of a stretch when there's there's a really big bottom pack right now.
Which is where EG like rose from last split.
And let us not forget that, like, EG finished the split 9-9, tied with FlyQuest and Golden Guardians, who neither of whom changed too terribly much.
FlyQuest has that new. Is Philip new, or is that a name change, or what's up with that?
It's from their academy team.
Okay.
He looks green still, so I'm a little bit hesitant.
Philip, we'll see, because Kuma wasn't exactly a game changer for them.
Yeah. Like top lane continues to be their kind of weak spot as far as their roster is concerned. But they have other fundamental flaws too, it seems. So I don't. I was pleasantly surprised with what they were able to do last split, but a lot of that was them taking advantage of smart meta reads. And then actually, while Kumo didn't look good, relying on Kumo's flexibility to do the nonsense that the meta's enabled, like top lane Tryndamere, or playing the support top lane nonsense. So like with this much more cookie cutter meta based off of the durability changes, the top lane spot being a weak link is a much bigger vulnerability for how they can play and position on these
And Golden
games.
Guardians to back up also made one change, dropping Lost for Stixay, which again, like that doesn't seem like a seismic change in any way.
Yeah, but they both looked pretty weak in 3 games so far.
And then like you have Dig and Immortals who both kind of just look bad.
Immortals, I think, still needs time to ramp up. It looks to me, but like, yeah, they looked bad, and then Dig also looked pretty pathetic. I don't know how I don't know how like how things go, or if it's also the fact that Gamsu got brought in. I think Gamsu kind of bought into the bait pick, which is this top Ignite Sejuani. So so the top Ignite Sejuani looks tragically bad, and I think the trick with it is that like people were picking it because they like playing it into Ornn, but then it's terrible into things that are not Ornn, and so it really seems like there's some serious misreads that teams had for like the meta and how to approach these games, where like they're like hard blocking top lane Ignite Sejuani blind. They're doing some other really weird stuff with pick ban. So maybe that'll straighten out, and that's not just an NA thing. Like Alfari like blind picked Sejuani Ignite in like the first game of LEC2 and looked like a fool. So I have some serious concerns about how this is shaping up.
I do have like if we're on like picks, can we look up the stats for Wukong win loss? You can do across regions too.
We're gonna come back to that.
Okay,
Pause.
fine. Okay, sorry.
We're gonna talk about games first, and then we're gonna do a pick section later.
Fine.
Deal with it.
Eric opened it up with the Sejuani thing.
Nope, too late.
Yeah.
Nope, we'll come back to that.
Fine.
Because we're going to the LAC now.
Let's go.
Crossing regions. That's the actual transition you meant to do. Is we're going to talk about the LAC now.
Fine.
Speaking of coming out of the old MSI, hot as can be. Shout out to G2, who are the only undefeated team in the LAC after 1 week.
They do be.
Eric, how did you feel about G2's gameplay?
They look clean. They looked. Broken Blade in particular looks to be really enjoying what this meta delivers. So G2 look really strong when solo lanes are strong, and solo lanes are really strong right now.
Yeah, did he get Vlad games in? Am I tripping?
I don't remember that one. I know he had a sick Yone game and a sick Gangplank game.
And if you're, Broken Blade, by the way, Broken Blade and Flacked with the top KDAs in the league right now at 44. 44 through 3 games.
Lord.
His 8-0-11 game on Gangplank against Excel.
Disgusting. Poor Excel.
Finn was hey, Excel is 2-1 right now and have a win over Fnatic and another team. They look like a top 3 team in the league. It's just that they got absolutely destroyed in their solo lanes against G2. Like Finn went 0-8-1 in that game, and Nuke Duck was 2-6-1 on Twisted Fate. Like G2 destroyed them.
Yeah, when you get your booty plundered like that, you got to feel a little bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Broken Blade on Gangplank this weekend in 2 games against Astralis and Excel. Combined KDA between the 2 games of 14-0 and 15 on the all GP there.
I don't think he's gonna be getting that this coming up week,
Into
is
Gwen,
he?
by the way, which I think is also a decent pick right now.
Yes.
Gwen's really strong right now.
Our poor spent a minute in the LCS Finn with the 0-8-1 Gwen game is just brutal. I've had that game in solo queue. It's not fun.
That is a useless character.
It's really unfortunate. Eric, did any other performances draw your eye? Do you want to talk about Excel for a little bit?
Excel Fnatic was a really sick game, and Excel do look good. Like in that game, Finn got to play the Gangplank into the Gwen, and also had a really good game against Wonder. But then also Nuke Duck got the Lissandra into LeBlanc counter pick, and popped off, won that. So they looked very strong, and they have a very good understanding of how to approach this meta, which we'll talk about a bit more in the picks section. But like Excel looked very comfortable with what's going on right now. Unlike some of the other teams in EU. For example, Misfits, yeah, who, in addition to being irrelevant, are really struggling with how to build team comps and what their laners are supposed to be playing. So Schlatan feels like he's in ELO hell right now, because Vethio hasn't been playing Vethio picks in this meta, and that looks very bad.
Yeah. Didn't they get like? They didn't throw a game. They got absolutely like completely bodied, right? They lost a perfect game, or they got perfected or something.
I think there was a perfect game against. Was it Excel? Was it the Excel game? So they got 2 towers in the Excel game, but no kills.
Jeez, yeah.
No kills,
0 kills,
no dragons, no just 2 towers. In that Excel game, which was a 26-minute stomp. So yeah, Marcoon was 3-0-11 in that game with so involved in all but one of the team's kills.
Nice. That's a low kill game too.
Well, 15 kills is actually high for this meta, which is not the best, I'll say. If you're not an LPL, I should say. If you're not an LPL, 15 kills in a game is pretty high in this meta. But like, yeah, it was a stomp.
We're not gonna get to much LPL on this chat, but we're gonna have a Steven react live to an LPL play here.
Oh no.
Is what we're gonna do.
Excellent.
So I'm gonna put a link in our chat thread here.
Excellent.
And Steven's gonna react to this. Is the one LPL moment we're gonna get this week. This is from OMG JDG.
Okay. I'm opening
and this is the LPL even in this meta after the durability patch.
Oh mercy. Oh no, they're all top lane. Oh god, it's a mess. Okay. Oh no.
Welcome to the LPL.
Did they really think that they could just walk into a Nautilus? Like, I'm
I don't
assuming...
think they expected the Nautilus to be there, to be fair.
But it looks like everybody's, like, due, because everybody was top.
So the play in question, chat, since you don't have this on your screen, this is a play from the opening of JDG OMG, I believe, game 1. If you played RF, Party in the top lane, where everybody just went top lane and their cannons at 25 seconds? It's that. But in a pro game, for no discernible reason, where everybody just goes into the middle bush and top lane and just has fun. The problem is, one team has Nautilus and the other team doesn't, which means that the team that has Nautilus got 3 kills in a real quick hurry.
And Viego. Like...
yucky.
I see why the confidence, though, because you do have the Braum, which is a high level 1, like, priority in that kind of combat situation, but like
because Brom's really good in level 1s too. It's a thing.
Yeah, but like I don't know, that seemed goofy.
So, Eric, what was your favorite play from the LPL? You mentioned one up in that chat too.
Oh, I love the 369 pentakill, where it's like the perfect symptom of what's going on with this meta though, where like he's playing Gangplank and he just walks down and he cues the first member of the other team and they die. And then on cooldown he cues the next member on the enemy team and they die. And he just does that 5 times and gets a pentakill. Just like walking at them and pressing Q. And just like gets these kills. Because he's hitting them for like 800 damage on those Qs. So it's not like minor. But he's just pressing Q to get this penta. It's like you're used to these like 80 carry pentakills where they're like orb walking, they're flashing out of skill shots, they're doing this stuff. No, he's just walking at them and then shooting them with his gun once.
What you're saying is it's a little bit of the balls pentakill on Darius from Worlds a little bit ago, where it's a little bit of a Darius pentakill where he just pushes R and then they die one by one.
Yeah, only this isn't R. This is Q.
Because it's gang.
It feels like old school Gangplank where you just like raise morale and then walk up and queue things to death. Like no barrels before the invention of barrels. That's funny.
So there's your LPL minute. We're going to talk about the LCK when we talk about picks. Who disappointed you the most in the LEC this weekend, Eric? And why was it Misfits?
So it's not actually Misfits, because when they went away from here, it's pretty clear to me that they're probably gonna have a light rebuild here. And I also don't expect them to do wonders in this meta. It's actually Fnatic who disappointed me a lot. They looked like they had a very bad meta read and were behind, and they lost to they got the win over Rogue, I guess. So that's nice. But
Rogue actually looked worse, which is funny.
Yeah, I just was not impressed by like Fnatic's level of play yet, especially in that XL set, which so we'll see if they can shape it up a step. But like I want more from Fnatic, because I love when LEC is super competitive at the top of the table, and I need more teams to be able to fight G2 here.
Yeah, Rogue probably should have 0-3'd the weekend. Having been down 5,000 gold in a Baron at 23 minutes in their one win. And then Mad Lions threw at Elder Dragon and lost the game.
Rest in Paps.
But like
that was an absurd throw. That was absolutely absurd.
That's the thing, is like Mad Lions 100% threw that game, or Rogue would have 0-3'd the weekend. So Rogue also did not look good, and that is a notable fact.
Did they have any big changes? I didn't notice.
Nothing.
Okay, that's what I was like. They just
nothing on Rogue, nothing on Fnatic. They're just I think they're just struggling with the meta a bit, both of them, and figuring out what to do.
Also, Odo looked bad. That was a thing. That was a player thing.
It's also like a rough meta for Marcoon, I think, because like early game action from your jungler is weird in this patch. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just weird. And so like he can't just do his Jarvan bullshit to get them free wins. It's tricky.
All right, that's all my LAC notes we've got. Should we talk about champions?
Yes.
Steven, talk about Wukong.
I want to know the win rate before I just look like a complete.
So I'll give you the win rate in our usual top 4.
Yeah.
Section here.
Because I don't think it should have the priority it has, if that's fair to say. I think
we're in summer split. Wukong, I think the stats disagree with you there.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about.
We got 57 picks and 65 bans. 98% presence, highest presence of any champion in the game. and a 35 and 22 win rate of 61%, which
Okay.
is the highest of anything with 20 or more picks.
Dang. Okay.
Oh, that's a lie. Gangplank's higher.
Yeah. So this is what I'm wondering, if Wukong is only good in people that are the better players, or if they're playing a lesser team. Because I think, like, if you're the lesser team on paper and you get Wukong, you still lose. I don't think it's giving enough an advantage, but it's something that you can pressure with. Because I think even in the wins, it's not like a super shining star. And I want to see more of my boy Volibear picked.
So for comparison here,
Yeah.
The two significant presence junglers, as you might expect, are Wukong and Viego. Viego has 84 picks, the highest picks, I think, of any champion, definitely any jungler, and is exactly right down the middle, 42 and 44, dead even.
Yep.
So, and then you've got a whole bunch of other junglers who have smaller win rates, including your boy the Bear, who is 5 and 6 in his 11 games.
So, like, a part of the big thing to me when I see that Gangplank stat line is that with the slower early game play, solo lane counter picks get more powerful. And so, like, the Gangplank is usually an answer into the Gwen. Or, you see, like, the Yone getting picked as an answer into the Sejuani blind or whatever. So it could be that Wukong's win rate is inflated, Steven, if it's being blinded early to win team counter picks in solo lanes.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that to me would be like the argument I'd have for it being like potentially over prioritized, is not actually about the pick itself, but it's more the fact that it's a good jungle pick that enables you to that enables you to not have to blind solo lanes, which are like really good to have available in this meta.
I'll take
especially top. So
Let me hit you with another win rate stat here. Highest win rate of any champion with 15 or more picks is a mid laner. Can you tell me who?
It's not LeBlanc, is it?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
It's the opposite of that.
It's the Lysandra, isn't it?
It's the Lysandra. 13 and 5 for a 72% win rate.
So counter picks.
So it's the counter pick. It's not the LeBlanc.
Interesting.
LeBlanc herself is just 7 and 7 for a 50% win rate.
Yeah, so like that's been the big selling point here is like get the counter pick, the Gangplank into the Gwen, or like I said, the Yone into the Ornn or Sejuani or something like that, and just like win lane hard, because what this meta has shaped up to be really is there's going to be a big team fight at roughly 25 to 27 minutes into the game, and you want to win that hard. You want to win it real hard.
So, but you say the win lane thing, and I think that the bigger thing is you have the dominant Gwen and Gangplank for the laning. The next 3 top laners down are all big team fight impact, because it's Gnar, Sejuani, and Kayle, who is the new pick in the meta that we should talk about next. Yes. Because Kayle, as you might know, is not a win lane, win game champion. She's a go to level 16 and win the game with a immensely impactful team fight ultimate.
And absurd damage output. Like, and the Kayle is usually a counter pick into melee matchups. So like when they've locked like a melee champion, you counter pick with this Kayle, where you're sure that you're going to be able to survive this early lane phase. So I guess that's not win lane, but it is you want to have an advantage going into this team fight at roughly that 25 to 27 minute mark. So that then you turn the game around, or you just snowball it open because no one has a discernible lead before that point. These games are remarkably even early.
There's also you have the other school of this, which is the fact that I still see double-digit picks on Fiora and Camille. Now, that is partially probably because the LPL is still involved in these, but we've seen Fiora picks all over the place. It's only 13 picks, but it's been banned 26 times. That is the 4th most bans of any top lane.
And it's been primarily like another answer into
It's an answer into melee matchups.
Well, and specifically tanky melee matchups, because like you want to be able to pop vitals. And it's really easy to pop vitals on Ornn or Sejuani, it turns out.
And so Sedge being a big pick is just like setting the table for Fiora and Camille to come make your day miserable.
The Camille, I think, is partially like just due to popularity and player mastery, because like a lot of pro players from like a specific era have a ton of gameplay experience on Camille and look really good on that champion.
Well, and the same with Fiora. Like, so particularly in the LPL, so many of those top laners, Fiora is their bread and butter. Like,
yeah, and like and so I think Fiora is like actively good, and the Camille is more like it's a bruiser champion you can pick into these tanks and win, and then also have like impact in team fight. So like I don't think the Camille's as strong as the Fiora is what I'm saying. It's
and
just
and win rates bear that out. Like,
yeah.
The Camille is only 4-7. It has not done well in the games that it's come in. Haven't checked to see who's been picking it, but like that's notable. Where Fiora is 6-7, so about 500 on 13 picks. Checking into bot lane. What's your favorite thing to pick with a Senna since Senna's back?
Tahm Kench.
I don't know if I like the Tahm Kench in the way these teams are shaping out. TK is really good against like single target stuff, or like so like if they have like a LeBlanc or something, I like the TK. But like if it's like these, if we're shaping up into these Wombo-y teamfight comps, it might be better to like it might be better to actually pick engage there. So like actually going towards like a Wukong flex.
I was gonna say, is this a set of Wukong? Oh,
no. Or honestly, even more cancer. Instead of opting into these safe or like intuitive strategies, just pick even more cancer, and you lock the Seraphine down there, and then you play Seraphine Senna bot lane, and then you just heal your way through the game, just like it was like the old Lux Sona days.
Shout out to CLG's carry Seraphine comp in game 1. By the way, that was a flex.
It was disgusting. And that was the Seraphine Senna, yeah? That was what they did?
It was Seraphine carry. I don't remember if it was with Senna. You go check. Because I know Luger played the Seraphine. That was what was weird about it.
Do you know who I'm oddly nostalgic for in the Senna lane is Set. Set support is something that I kind of miss.
No, it was Seraphine Karma. You want to talk about that? It was Seraphine Karma was the lane.
No.
Yeah. So just like tons of shields, tons of heals,
and it was in a Senna Tahm Kench for the record.
Yeah, because like the Tahm Kench pick is good if they have single target CC. So it's good into the LeBlanc for the damage side. It's good into like the Lissandra if they're trying to just go in there and press R on you. But like it's not good if you just have like a wall of damage.
It's funny you say wall. CLG's mid laner in this game was Azir.
Yeah, a wall of damage.
Like, you look at the rest of the CLG team comp, its top side is Yone. Only 2 top Yone games in the league, in any of the top 4 leagues, by the way, were Broken Blade and Dokla in these 2 games, both of which we talked about. Yone, Viego, Azir, with Seraphine Karma.
That's a lot of damage.
It's a lot of damage. It's a lot of shields. It's a lot of heals.
It's my Azir's not gonna die.
Just in time for the new champion.
Is how this is gonna work. It may surprise you to learn that the Azir in this game did 36% of his team's damage and finished the game 7-0-4.
He clicked on him.
He clicked on him a lot.
All of his
Another game also featuring, as Eric called it, the bait top Sejuani pick.
Is he wrong,
What does
though?
Sejuani do into his ear if she doesn't get him? She stands there and dies after she misses her engage.
What's the win rate on the Sejuani top?
38%.
Yeah,
It's not good.
especially blind. Like, it's meant to be an answer to Ornn if you want to tank with engage. That's what it's meant to be. It's still not good, especially if you're Alfari and you really shouldn't be playing Sejuani. I don't know what you're doing, but like, there's just a lot of like intuitive flaws with like that's how you're approaching this game right now.
So
Alfari trolling a team.
To return to the Senna topic, my favorite Senna lane that I've seen in this new meta came from the Dom1 Gen G set from last night. You know what Gen G picks with their Senna, Eric?
Oh no, is it Heimerdinger?
Nuh-uh, it's
Is it
Lehen's. You know what
Fiddlesticks?
Lehen's favorite champion is?
Oh no, what's Len's favorite champion?
It's Singed.
Uh,
They played 2 games of Senna Singed and won both of them to win the set. You know what Senna Singed is really good into? It's good into Yuumi lanes.
Oh,
Because
yoink.
if Yuumi ever detaches, Singed gets to go
Ground.
back to Yuumi.
yeah, that's fair.
The
That
sticky
actually
goo.
makes a lot of sense
And
because like
Lehen's has been a career pocket Singed player. That's a thing.
I really like that actually because like the other pick that I would think of into the Yuumi lanes is actually that you'd pair with Sen is actually Trundle, where you have Pillar, because Pillar is also really good at interrupting Yuumi attach, and also is just really good against those kind of targets, and it's really good into tanks if they're blind picking Sejuani top for some reason. So like that's like the other like pick that I would typically think of there, but the Cinch brings a lot of the same nonsense too. Also is really good in open maps,
Yeah,
which is
I
strange.
apologize. Genji has played 2 matches so far, and he's picked Singed in both of them and won all 3 games on it.
Sick.
Lens.
Man, that seems miserable into like the Ezreal Karma BS though. So like have people actually been playing that into
the lanes it has been into were Jinx Tom Kench,
Yeah.
Zeri. No, that was with the Zeri. Oh, he picked it with Zeri instead of with Senna? Oh, that's hilarious. It was into Xayah Yuumi in game 1. And it was into Kaisa Renata game 3.
Huh. See, and that one to me seems like the most suspect of the 3. Because like that seems like a lane where they can just auto attack you when you walk forward.
Yep.
And like especially with handshake actually seems very good against Singed, as like an ability because you just can like stop him from running away, even for like a second or two. Like that's an opportunity for Kaisa to land an auto attack and a Q, and that's a big chunk.
Yeah, but if you ground Kaisa, she can't use her not
Her ultimate.
Well, her ultimate, but she can't use her walkie forward thing, can she? Where she gets the attack speed boost? I don't think she can use that.
Oh.
I don't know how that works with grounded.
Yeah, I know.
It's not a dash. Like and to me, like if you're the one who's aggressing there on Singe, something's very strange because like that's actually a really good. That's exactly what Renata wants, especially if you're not going at Renata. So
maybe that's what they did. They never aggressed, but then they felt like they had to like send Kaisa in to do something, and then you just yeet.
Or it got to like after the lane phase, and then the Sinch got to use his buttons in a fight, and it made a big difference. I don't know.
I will also note while I'm looking at champions that are undefeated thus far, the other undefeated champion with the most wins is my beloved Jungle Poppy, who has been played twice in the LCK and once in the LPL to great success by Peanut, Canyon, and Karsa, who I trust to know what's up.
Are they playing Volibear?
It beat the Volibear in one of those games.
No, that doesn't count then. I don't count it. Volibear should be so good in this meta. I'm so confused.
It does look okay. like I think people are just like really opting into the Wukong blind, and Viego is the answer people pick into the Wukong. So it will be a ton of Viego games, not just because Viego is good, but because Viego is the answer people play into Wukong. So
Yeah, so the bear is 2-3 against Wukong, and is 2-1 against the Viego, and is 0-1 against the Trundle, and 0-1 against the Poppy.
Yeah, I definitely understand the loss of the Poppy and Trundle. Like, you pick Trundle into Volibear. That's just what you do.
But yeah, the matchups against both the Wukong and the Viego are even-ish on a very small sample size.
Fine. Lame.
And it's been like the wins on it are Razork, Marcoon, and Yankos and Malrong, and then one by Haru, who is also in the LIC. So all the wins are in LIC, and this is
I think that's what I
9
said.
games in the LEC, 1 in the LCS, 1 in the LPL, and 1 in the LCK. So it's all Europe. It's playing it.
That might be why I'm getting my vibes.
Yeah, like Blabber's the only one that's played it in NA.
And he played a poopy.
that's my example of he just ran at them. My dragon.
Yes, he played big poopy.
Well, and I haven't watched the Damwon Genji set, so I hesitate to comment on it too much, but one of the comments was Candy did not play well in that set. And one of these games is him going 1-3-1 on Volibear in game 3 of that.
So they're just dogging on my bear. That's really upsetting.
Dogging on your bear.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Well, another way of looking at it is a lot of the best junglers in the world agree with your assessment that Volibear could be good right now, Steven. It's just they're not winning much on it.
Yeah.
So
they should just play better.
And it's one of those interesting things where like it is so region specific, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like for that volume of games to be in Europe and only Europe, and it just having nibbles everywhere else, you're like one of the tropes of professional League of Legends is that Europe can set metas sometimes. And that might be one of those things that like people are watching the LEC to see what a meta read is, and seeing that it's been successful for several different teams in multiple different matchups in the LEC. So it might be something to try more to break the Viego Wukong duopoly.
Yeah, I think I'm just mostly upset that I was very certain that Santorin would play Volibear all week, because he's a great Volibear player, and when he's good, he plays it, or the Trundle. And then he just played Wukong, so he bamboozled me on my points, so I'm really upsetting, to be honest.
I was also kind of expecting Wukong to fall a bit in terms of like win rate, not even from the reasons we talked about, but also from the fact that one of the rumors or myths floating around MSI was a part of why Wukong was good for that event was the high ping, where like it's really hard to react to Wukong Ultimate when you've got like more than 7 ms of latency, and but it doesn't look like that's really hit the champion at all with how these games have played. So like that's like a sign that maybe that rumor or that understanding that people might have had is flawed, and that it turns out that it's just OP right now.
Yeah, the I'm interested to see what happens with Gwen and GP. Because like the Gwen has been banned more and has a smaller win rate. The GP has been banned less and has a giant win rate. So something is going to break one way or another with that. And I'm interested to see with another week of sample size how both of those numbers switch. Like, are bans going to shift more to Gangplank across the world? Because that's like, when you look at the sample size, those are 2 of the highest 5, 6, 7 picked champions in the game across the top 4 leagues right now. So there's going to be a big sample of something happening with those 2. And I'm interested to see if more bans shift to Gangplank because it's been working more, Or like if the Gwen is let loose more, does that shift in a positive direction, or do people find out like Gwen is more answerable, so we can leave it up and just get rid of GP? Same thing for like Lucian has the highest ban priority of anything in the game right now. Is that going to be flexible? Probably not, because it's such a high priority for everybody. But it's one of those like that's the early sample. It has almost 100 bans through 1 week of games, which is kind of insane.
Like Lucian and Callista are the other like the bot lane things that people just don't want to deal with. Where it's dominant lane AD carries that then transition well into those mid lane power spikes. Ezreal being the other one, right? Where it's like you want to have an AD carry who's good in lane and then gets you to that point, and then is good in that team fight. So, like, I don't know. To me, that top lane thing changing is not just about like, are they more willing to pivot on the Gwen pick, but like, what are the other nonsense combos that teams are playing that teams start feeling more comfortable again with like strategies against? Like, are they willing to play into Lucian Nami? Are they willing to play into Callista? Do they have answers? And if the answer is yes, then maybe they start flexing or doing funny things with top lane bans. It's really, I don't expect it in the best of 1 leagues. I expect it more in the best of 3 leagues to start with, where they're like willing to make more risky pick ban decisions inside of a set.
And speaking of the pick bans, I'm checking something right now. Oh god, Singe stole a Baron. In game 1 of that? What the heck, guys?
No, the question is it off poison tick or off of a flip?
Or off of Summoner Spellbook.
Oh, yeah, smite.
That might be it.
I hope it was off a flip, though, because that's always funny.
I'm looking to see, I want to say LCK is either moving soon to 12-11 or has moved to 12. Oh, KT put the Ornn with the Senna. That's an interesting flex.
Interesting.
Really strong.
Sounds horrid to be against.
Not necessarily wrong. Somebody starts 12-11 this week. Maybe it's the LPL.
A region.
Like, which looking at the 12-11 patch notes, so 12-11 was 2 weeks ago, so it's about the right stretch for it to start hitting pro play, because pro play is 2 weeks behind, if I remember correctly. So the biggest thing on this patch was buffs to bot lane, notably Samira, Caitlyn, Aphelios, which could be something to look into. Like the buff list was Aphelios, Caitlyn, Gragas, Aurelia, Lee Sin, Nunu, Rakan, Ryze, Samira, Silas, Tahm Kench, Taric, Tryndamere, and Xin Zhao.
Man, it's been a hot minute since Nunu was valuable.
And like, who knows if any of that actually impacts pro?
Right.
Well, you know, Udyr got some game time, Steven, in NA, so maybe Nunu will.
Yeah, who played Udyr?
People watching Champions Queue, there's a lot of Udyr floating around the edges of this meta. That's a thing.
Okay, just because of his ability to like help top lane.
It's power clearing.
Okay.
It's making the enemy jungler's life miserable.
Big Sag. Yeah. My jungle's been pillaged. Who could have done this?
I get no creps. I get no buffs. What is this?
Where is my? Oh my god. Recession joke.
Who played the Udyr? I know what happened.
I saw a man with a fur hat to come through your jungle.
Yeah,
he took everything.
Blabber was playing it in Champions Queue when I was watching Champions Queue the other night. That's a thing. Noted Udyr enjoyer.
Connoisseur.
One pick for the Bear Man. Ah, it was Jose Diodo.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it might be
Jose Diodo.
It was in their win too, wasn't it?
It was
Excellent.
008 on the boy.
Is this gonna be like the thing where Aatrox like hit meta and then got immediately reworked? Is it gonna be Udyr's gonna hit meta and then get immediately reworked? That's my favorite flavor of League of Legends balancing system.
I don't think that Udyr's gonna hit meta.
Dang, that'd be hilarious though.
I think that game is why I'm down on Golden Guardian. Is what I will say. But that was also like a Lucian Nami game. So like he had like they had like 3 winning lanes and this Udyr. So it was real bad. It was real bad.
He should play Jungle Zed. What's happening?
While we're acknowledging some weird picks that happened in some games, can we talk about in a rare Adam against OMG game, the 7-2-3 top lane Nasus in the LPL
dog champ.
Which
there's been some weird stuff happening over there.
That was into a KO, by the way. The Nasus won.
That's what you hope for.
Nasus is really good into KO, both because you're both scaling in early lane, but also because you have Wither. Which is like a really strong ability.
Yeah. Goodbye, Kale. You press one button, they don't have a Kale anymore.
Also, while I'm looking at all the things that have been picked once, Cled's been picked once and won one game. Bet you can guess which team did that.
Would it be in mid lane somehow?
It would be in mid lane somehow.
By a player.
LNG's not been terrible so far on the return side.
Yeah, 4-2-10 doing B into Swain.
Yep, that do be a good matchup for Cled, so probably some unseen matchup.
Poor Forge too. Like Forge has actually looked good so far on the return.
Anyone look decent? That's a thing.
Yeah, and but that here he is in this series, and it's like, oh no, it's mid Cled into his Swain pick, and then he picks like Yone into Swain, and it does not go as well. This Swain priority in LPL, that might be a really good thing. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, didn't Bwipo play Swain as well? Bwipo likes Swain.
Bwipo does like Swain. I forget what Bwipo played Swain into.
We can also acknowledge my other favorite pick from the LPL that I forgot to mention, but I need to mention, which is the Shy locking the top Anivia.
Oh, he did that again?
But why?
Just the once.
But why?
It didn't work.
Oh, okay. Okay. So because there's the A auto locked.
It was into EDG, to be fair to him, but
why? I guess he looked for any kind of edge.
He locked it into Vladimir because he liked the matchup. It didn't work.
Nope. I think that isn't that another opportunity to take the Cled. He likes Cled, doesn't he?
No, that's not the Shy thing.
Oh, okay.
The Shy typically likes more like even more absurd lane dominant things.
Yeah, it was Anivia into Flandre's.
I'm
Vladimir.
thinking of 369.
Yeah, 369 does like Cled.
He does like Cled.
And Scion. He really likes Scion.
So there you go. There's your meta preview of stuff that's floating around the very edges of the thing. Upset with the Tristana, a classic upset pick if there ever was one.
Did we have a Draymond game from Upset as well?
That was Unforgiven.
Oh, Unforgiven. There's two.
I
think they both did.
I know Unforgiven had one.
Yeah. Upset had one too, and it went okay.
Yeah.
Like the Draven was not the problem.
Draven helping. Draven with 13 picks.
Hold on. Hold the phone.
It's a good answer. People pick into Callista.
He is 3-10.
Yeah.
Ooh.
People pick it into like the Callista and stuff, and it doesn't go very well.
Apparently not well.
It's because IG's ADC has picked it 4 times and lost all 4 times. Well, no, lost only. IG's AD carry has 2 of the 3 wins. Actually, he's 2-2.
It's a numbers game at this point.
Wait. RNG Timeout. Did RNG trade Bin and they picked up Breathe? Is that what I'm seeing? From like their Weibo series, they're playing Breathe in top lane.
RNG is?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I haven't checked. Probably. We should probably do some more research about the LPL next time.
We did bait you into talking about it rather than you committing to it, so
Yeah.
we'll take
It
that.
looks like RNG traded and have Breathe now, and are still doing well.
Yep.
Which I like, for the record.
We'll wrap here because this is my actual 12-11 question. If Belveth is available, because Belveth released in 12-11, do you think Belveth will see professional?
I don't know enough about people's preference on that character, to be honest. I think if someone has like a cheeky plan with her, maybe. But I was really just kind of turned off how they made a monster into anime girl. So I haven't really invested in the character.
So I think it would be a good LPL champion because like the part of the kit is that you get a kill and then you get like the evolution off of that kill and then you chain it, but it's slower than like a Viego reset, right? It's like a continuous buff. So like it's much better in pick scenarios or where there's like a continuous fight or pressure than it is for like an all-in 5v5 at Dragon Pit. So think it's a great LPL champion. Might be okay in EU. I don't think NA team should play it.
Okay.
Although Jose
Which
Dioto
NA
is
team
probably
is
going to pop off.
Which NA team is going to lock it in when they shouldn't?
Golden
When they
Guardians.
shouldn't probably. I don't know if Pride Soccer is right now. I don't know. When they shouldn't. I'm going to say CLG. I think CLG is going to do it.
Okay. C9.
Blabber.
It's the other good option. Yeah.
All right. That'll do it for us. Good, solid content smorgasbord for all of you. We'll come better prepped with some nuggets from the LPL and the LCK.
I think so much happened in 1 week.
The thing with the LPL and the LCK is there's just so many more volume of games because they're best of 3 and they play every night except for like 1. So there's lots and lots and lots and lots of games. So we're never going to catch all of them, but there's lots of good content out there for you guys. There's lots of quality games out there. I will not look too hard at the schedule, but I will say EG CLG, game to watch this weekend. I am very interested to see how good CLG actually is, and that will be a great landmark for them. There you go. Steven, what's on the channel?
There's tons of stuff. We did a Fall Guys launch day on the Switch live stream. That was very fun. We got a big dub at the end, so very hyphy for that. I made it to Master Rank, so that's on there. That final episode aired, so you can see my whole quest to Master Rank in Pokemon Unite. We're also starting a Kirby playthrough for Superstar Ultra. Or no, just Superstar. Kirby Superstar for the SNES. That's a fun one. Me and my brother are doing through that. And more content to come. I'm on Baby Watch, so we're shortening the amount of content that comes out per week. We're only doing 3 episodes per week. But after Baby shows up and I recover, then we'll ramp back up to the 5 uploads a week, because that was some good spice. But yeah, appreciate everybody who likes and subscribes and checks out all the other content as we venture through the Poser series and have a good time with the boys.
I like the hand gestures. They were good.
Yeah, I'm pointing at stuff. I know where they are. They're up there. You can go up to things.
Anyway, Eric, what you been playing?
So I got super into the there's this like a Pokemon Ironmon challenge out there now where you you get one Pokemon and everything you fight is like up 3 levels, and there's like a ton of absurd rules.
Huh.
And I'm like 60 ROM files into like this randomizer to try and like get farther. The furthest I've ever gotten is to Lavender Town, and then immediately died to a fisher who had an octillery that knew Frenzy Plant, and it was tragic. But like anyway, that's what I've been doing with a ton of my time, potentially too much.
Steven, what you been playing?
I like Fall Guys a lot. I've only played one night of that. I've been poking around at the N64 online on the Switch. I did just pick up House of the Dead remake for the Switch. I'm very hypey about that. I do enjoy my light gun games, and I think the Switch is criminally under-leveraged if the Joy-Cons actually work as a decent light gun, so that's going to be my foray into that, see how well it translates. Because if it does do well and we don't have like a new age Duck Hunt for the Switch by the time it's phased out, I'm gonna be really upsetty, because I think this is like the last hurrah to like seamlessly integrate some light gun games into your console.
My online exploring has been the PlayStation Online Store recently redid their subscription model to match more like the Xbox and the Switch, where it comes with cloud-based games and stuff. So I have that. So I went poking around there a little bit this past week, and I found some childhood games to go replay through of my own. I crushed through the original Ape Escape game for PlayStation 1 in 2 nights and 2 sittings. Played a little bit of the Toy Story 2 Buzz Lightyear to the Rescue platform.
Love that game.
Fantastic game. That's one I'll be coming back to in a couple nights to work through. And then I played through the first third of Jak and Daxter, the first Jak and Daxter game, which I can play by heart and can 100% complete in under 4 hours.
Nice.
Because I played it so many times. That's just the chill game to do. My gaming heritage is in 3D platformers for the PlayStation specifically, and that is very evident by the choices of games that I go back to. So that is my comfort zone. To bring it back to the League of Legends thing, I also have been playing a ton of the new Teamfight Tactics patch that came out last week, which Eric has played some of with me as well. I even played my 5 ranked placement matches and almost top 4'd all of them, which is kind of bonkers. And I am in Silver 2 for TFT, which is the highest rank I've ever been in anything Riot has ever put out.
We take that.
Stupid. But no, like that's close enough to gold that I might actually like try to grind for getting gold in a thing ever. Because like I have had really good luck playing a variety of compositions in new TFT, and I think they have done this new patch really well for the most part, and the balance patch that's due to hit next week, I want to say, that they previewed today, I think is going to do a lot to adjust the things that are a little bit out of hand. The Ragewing class and Zaya are both a little bit out of control right now, and are kind of feel like they're in every game, even playing normals. So that's going to be nice to be brought in hand, and they're buffing one of my favorite compositions in Cannoneers. So that's going to continue to be very fun to play. I have enjoyed getting into and out of TFT, but I think the game's in a really good spot right now. So worth giving a try to. So there you go. Play TFT. Play more Riot things. So there you go. All right. That's us done for this week. We'll be back next week to talk about whatever else happens, because it's back into professional League of Legends season, so there's stuff kind of happening all the time. We obviously, since Steven noted the baby watch, we might have to take a hiatus for a little bit at some point if something happens.
Yes.
Because our host and recording boy here, for some reason, is having a third child.
Hey.
And is going to be a little bit busy.
I have a good time, you know.
It's true. One for the time being, one is plenty for me.
Oh yeah, it's 1 to 3 is basically the same transition. So
that's not how math works. But you're right. So bear that in mind if you're a regularly scheduled listener. We might have to deal a little bit with that, but life happens. And life finds a way.
Finds a way.
This has been Reaction Time. We'll catch you next time.